This is chapter 3, exercise 3.5. Quick tip is the way I remember financial statements is with this little acronym IRBS: income statement, retained earnings, balance sheet, and statement of cash flows. In this assignment, we will just be dealing with the first three. So let's get started with our income statement. We have the way we find the net income or the net loss is we subtract our revenues, our expenses from our revenues. So we'll start out with revenues, and the revenue we have on here is our service revenue. You can see right here it is $10,800. So we put that in our sheet, and then that's all the revenue we have. So we then go to the expenses, and you can see in this column here underneath expenses we have our rent expense, salaries and wages expense, and our utilities expense. So we have rent expense for $830. Our next one was the salaries and wages expense. And that's for $2,400. And then our utilities expense was for $240. So our total expenses, once we add them all up, are $3,470. To find the net income or the net loss, we then subtract $3,470 from $10,800, and we get $7,330. That's the income statement. Next, we move on to the retained earnings statement, and you'll notice we have the month ended August 31st, 2017. We start with no retained earnings, so we put 0, and then you either add or subtract the net income or net loss. We have income, so we'll add, and we take the net income from our income statement, which is the $7,330 right here. So I've already input that, and typically you would add them, but because we have no retained earnings, it's just going to be that $7,330. And then we move on. You add or subtract dividends, so we'll put subtract less dividends. And our dividends, as we can go up to our sheet and reference that, they were $2,600. So we're going to go ahead and put 2,600. Sorry, pen. And then we subtract, so we take 7,330 and subtract the 2,600, and our end retained earnings is 4,730. The next one is the balance sheet. We start with our current assets, so we'll go ahead and sorry, it's a little messy. You start with the most liquid and go down. So cash is going to be first, and that is at $1,300. Or excuse me, $13,000 if again we reference the sheet here. You have cash, and I've gone through and totaled that all up, and it's $13,000. Next we have accounts receivable, and that total is $5,590, and then supplies is $620. We total the current assets, and our total comes to $19,210. After our current assets, we still have equipment, which is not a current asset but a long-term asset, and we'll just go ahead and add that. So we have equipment, and that is $4,960. Now we total all of our assets, and that total comes to $24,170. Next we go to our current liabilities, and our current liabilities, there is only one, and that is accounts payable. and that total is $1,840. We then move to our stockholders' equity. And that is included with the common stock and retained earnings. That's what makes up stockholders' equity. So our common stock total is $17,600. And then retained earnings is $4,730, which we get that from our retained earnings statement. And then common stock, you can see, is up here. The total is $17,600, and it's in the stockholders' equity section. So then, now that we have our liabilities and then our stockholders' equity added up, we have total liabilities and stockholders' equity, which is equal to $24,170. Now remember, this is a balance sheet, and so we have our assets at $24,170 and our liabilities at $24,170, and it balances out. Hopefully this helps. Good luck with your homework.